Alrighty. Hey guys, it's Ben here from Second Dynasty, with you at another update for our usual Thursday live stream. For those of you who haven't been with us before, we make 3D printable starships and tiles for tabletop gaming, usually in a 28mm scale that is about 1 to 60, although there's always a little bit of healthy debate about what exactly that is, but we go by one tile or square, which is about 1 inch in length and width, and it is equivalent to 5 feet or 1.5 meters. So it's approximate, but you know, your standard D&D scale. Today we have a fully lit scene, and I'm hoping that, yes, I can impress you straight off the bat with what I've been working on. Yeah, there's no sound. So there we go. That is just Maya hardware, which for those of you unfamiliar with Maya, I'll just I'm sure we'll be looking at this again, so I'm not going to close it, but we'll get into Maya. What you're seeing here is all rendered out from Maya's own what we call a hardware renderer, but essentially it's just using a GPU to capture you know, the graphics input. So what is this scene that we're looking at? What have I done? Well, some of you might not know that whilst I do model a lot for yeah, making spaceships and things, miniatures, which is like hard surface modeling for the most part. I do have a background in animation, and it's been a long time since I've touched anything animated, and we have this upcoming campaign, and I just wanted to animate and restrict myself because we really don't have that many resources to put into this campaign, but we wanted to make it look really cool using the limited resources of Maya's own viewport renderer, essentially. Now, it does have a limit to the amount of lights you have in the scene, and I might just go over and show you exactly how we fake this, because Maya does have a limit of 16 lights in the scene with a GPU renderer or hardware renderer, and we have many more than that. Well, not many more, but we've probably got a 22 lights in the scene. So I'm going to explain how I cheated this, but I'm just going to spool through this. So we've got our I think we can adjust the playback speed. This is at 24 frames per second. And then I did an export. You know what, we'll just play it as it was intended, eh? So just a side scrolling. I can probably turn off my camera. And hopefully you can hear me better this week. So, I mean, the models are all static. It's all just work with light. Maybe there's one exception there in that little room. But yeah, we just want to create, you know, a sort of like, God, what's the word for stemming?
Atmosphere?
Atmosphere, yeah. But basically,
ask the Swede
about the English word. Yeah, that's it. Let me put my camera back on so you guys can see me. The voice in the background, of course, is Albin, my coworker and cohort. And yeah, I think we've done a fairly cool little exercise here in.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
I wanted to get some fog going and see if we could get some volumetric effects going, but at the same time, you know, it's overkill. So we've just taken like 2 miniatures we have here from Starship 5. We've got our sort of robot mechanic, maintenance robot, I think we called it. And then we have our actual mechanic. I can't remember the name. Maybe it's on the miniature. Kaylee is the name for this particular miniature. It may look slightly blurry there. Actually, I'll spool across here so you can sort of see.
Unionized?
That's a good question, Albin. No comment. We actually have a couple of expressions on the lights to get them blinking. You can kind of see that in the beginning too. We've got a ceiling light that's blinking Almost looks like the Quake symbol here on the wall.
Yeah, that's cool.
But that's the shadow effect from these lights here. So if I turn the light off, you can kind of see the difference that this makes, right? It is sort of graphics intensive, I guess, but the other thing too you might notice or might not, let me just bump up the gamma on this to 1 so it's significantly brighter, that it actually gets blurry towards the back here. So we've actually got some not only like yeah, we've got some depth of field going. Thank you. My words today are not very good, apparently.
Tamsin thought scene looked cool, by the way.
Thank you. If you update the Starship tiles again, and in the future after this release, you have to include lens flares. No, not J.J. Abrams. There's our little sneaky... This corridor, for those of you who haven't seen, there's a little iris door or hatch or whatever we want to call it down there, Alla the Nostromo. And in this room, we may or may not have an unwelcome visitor. That's taken from Papsicle's campaign. I didn't use anything but, like, the miniatures in there, but I'm only casting a shadow on the wall, right, and animating that miniature just a little bit. We'll show you how dodgy it is in a bit. And what you probably can't see very well is the fan. There's another iris that's open here, a new piece I did today. I wanna put, let's see, that's the wrong one. I had the Google Doc, but I don't know if it opened, but I counted and we actually have done 58 pieces just in engineering and engineering to corridor, 59 if we include the new iris door I've done today, which is in the open state. So we're coming along very nicely. We're still waiting from MMF. God, why didn't I send them a Discord message? We need to get the date settled. I'd like to launch on the 27th or perhaps the 29th. Because the week after is a busy time for me. I am hosting the 6th or 7th Trollywood Animation Festival here in Trollywood. Well, sorry, next town over now. I keep forgetting we've moved. So if I switch out this camera to our regular perspective, we can survey the scene, and you can kind of see there that this big nasty shadow, right, is actually being cast by this tiny little miniature in here. And if we turn the lights off, yeah, he's not very big, is he? I kind of scaled him right down. I think it's like about a 40% of the size, if I remember right, 50%. So
it would have been fun if we got a not behind the scenes, but end real thing, and it turns out it's a pug or something.
Yeah, that would be funny. So yeah, you can kind of see that we can cheat a lot using lights. Now, this of course isn't relevant to, you know, the models that we make, but it is relevant if you're interested in creating your own tiles or you know, starting your own business in the STL game, because presentation of your materials is very important. Normally, we have a huge big photo shoot. I pay for you know, the models to get painted, and this stuff all takes time. This is a micro campaign, a proof of concept. We don't want to put the number of resources into it that we normally do to ensure that this is a viable way to, you know, keep us running. But I thought it could be interesting to show off this scene, but also we're starting to build different aspects. Sorry, not aspects. We've done the whole Lego thing before, where we've just said, here's a bunch of parts, go ahead. And we made deck designer, so, you know, that process could be easier, because one of the chief pieces of feedback I think we got was, you know, that people were struggling to plan out their prints. All fine and good if you know how to use a slicer or 3D software to place items out and plan your print, right? Deck designer helps a number of people. But it occurred to me that, you know, when I was growing up, I used to love playing with Lego. Aesthetics were important to me, but I noted quite early on when playing with friends that not everyone was as creative. I'm trying not to be an asshole about it. But the idea I had this time around is, yes, we're going to provide the pieces, but we're going to provide some finished, walls and rooms and things. So we've kind of migrated at this point in time. Albin has a huge big pile on his desk of parts. I have a huge big pile of parts on my desk. I can switch to the close up and move the camera down. So the parts are growing. We're rearranging them. I've got even more over there in the corner. So that's my little flasher goblin. So yeah, basically we're in the process of assembling it all. The parts I am very happy with. We haven't tested resin yet. Oh, by the way, guys, I hope I fixed my mic today. You said it was a bit quiet. So yeah, feel free to talk to us in the chat and direct this session. We do like to sort of interact with you guys if you have any questions. Let me see if I can actually refresh this studio thing. Why isn't that working? Sorry about this, guys. Setting the stage. There we go. I want that. And oh, why can't I? Ah, here we go. Sorry, guys. I was just trying to get into the chat. So, hi. There we go. Hey, Zarma. So yeah, we are just going to review some of the cool features that we did in this sequence. I will play it once more, and then we can talk about the details. So, and so there's no sound on it at the moment. So essentially, aside from that little unwelcome guest we talked about, that we can see in the window there, there is no character animation of any kind. Everything's done with lights. Well, there is one more element that I'll talk about in a second as well. So this time, yep, we're just going to try and make some quick and dirty inspirational scenes that can get your imagination going and show you what you can actually do with this tile set. I should turn my camera back on. There we go. All right. Just in time for you guys to see me scratch my nose. Excellent. But we actually have this other cool effect here. I've taken some tiles from Starship 1, I believe. Appropriate enough. And if we run the thing, I've got the fan animated. And that's just casting some nice, interesting shadows. Although we don't really, keep the... Okay, now that's interesting. See how the light just vanished? It disappeared. We've actually got the timeline here, and the actual film has restarted. So, the lights, like I said earlier in the session, Maya has a hard limit of 16 lights at a time. So how are we achieving more lights? Well, the simple thing is we're turning them off and on. So we've animated the lights. You just saw that the red light came on here. And as it gets enough bandwidth again, this light should reappear in just a little bit. And there we go. It's back on again. And you can see the fan shadows making this nice little pattern that can be seen out in the hall. Oh, I love it. I wish it was going a bit quicker though. So yeah, and you can kind of see how dodgy the animation is of the alien thing from Papsicles. It really isn't great. This isn't playing in real time, by the way, guys. It can't handle the real time. So yeah, but yeah, if we repeat this again, you can kind of see there's lights on in this area, but these lights aren't actually producing the shadows. Like if you look at these lights, you can kind of see it's casting shadows out of them. And you should see these lights start to disappear very shortly. And you'll see that by the shadows disappearing.
We got comments from the blasted Summerflange. first one was Xenomorph!
And there we go.
And the other one was Sormar has to make, in addition to light kits, moving fan kits.
That would be on a very, very small scale. You can see those lights are gone off, but they've gone off when the camera has moved on. So essentially, what's on camera, you never see any missing lights. And I think that's kind of nifty. Now, you would see if I turn off the shadows on this thing and switch to the correct camera, that this should play back much, much quicker. So it's actually faster than real time at the moment, because this is what the playback speed is set to, what it can handle. And I believe there is a setting here, animation preferences. Here we go. And if we switch play every frame to max playback speed should be 1 time, so 24 frames. So we save that. We actually got it playing back in 25, but still you can see it's gone back to the original size. But again, if we put on the shadows, the speed drops down dramatically. So I thought it would just be interesting for you guys to see what you can actually do with Maya's own sort of like hardware mode. Essentially, like, this is the video game version, right? Even though Maya's not really set up for it. All right, let's stop that. Oh shit! No. Ah, crap. I moved the camera.
Oh no.
So
Alt-Z.
yeah, but okay, we're back where it should be. I need to switch this to the perspective camera. All right, sorry about that. So if we turn off the lighting, you can kind of see all the parts we've got. There are actually a ton of variants here. Before we had the corridors side and the engineering side. Now we've got both corridor and engineering, and Albin's working with the corridor version. Now this will probably have a stretch goal, some kind of like inner hull or outer hull, sort of all alternatives, because again, these have all been designed so that, you know, you can essentially swap out the inside pieces here. Oh, and unfortunately this is not fully functional, but I thought it's a cool thing. Let's see. If I go in and press F8, get all of these vertexes, move the vertex point. I actually tested a setup where if you rotate these, we have our iris door. But this is mostly just for show. It's not... This will never be functional. I just wanted to get something in here that kind of looked like it, you could imagine it to be the irises. So I'm just going to leave that in there. I'm not going to take it out. It's barely visible. Again, these parts are not modified. These are just straight from our sort of older files. I grabbed them from this scene where I know that the fans are separate still. I would do all of this in a different way. Like I made the fan smaller. The geometry is just ugly. We were clearly in a rush and inexperienced when we made these things. It looks better than it actually is because of the sort of soft shading that we have on this. So if I turn this to hard shading, you'll notice it's quite an ugly element. And it didn't really print with supports either. It kind of needed supports. So yeah, not my best work. Alright, do we have any more comments?
Sarma was interested. He said he can make, in addition to light kits, moving... Oh, sorry.
You said that one.
He could make fan kits. It would be easy to add, and he could add sound kit as well.
You're welcome to try, buddy, if you want.
He's going to make like kits for it though. So that's the camouflage said swoosh when you take a door out to put it in. That would be kind of cool.
Right. Oh, for the sound effects, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be awesome. But yeah, then what do you guys think about the idea of not just selling like a pack of things, but that we've gone in Deck Designer, we've actually done a layout, kind of like what I showed you on the table. I kind of feel like if we can show you different scenes, and we're going to build a corridor scene too with a shootout, just to sort of like, I guess, advertisement for this upcoming mini campaign. I love being able to reuse the miniatures, put them in these environments, and really show off how nice it all can look when, obviously we don't have the time to paint it up, or do it properly in like resin or anything like that. But this is a nice alternative or a complement to, taking photos of the printed materials. How many crew get chewed in half by rogue AI? Yeah, so we have the other one there, so you can kind of see why we wanted to create a sense of dread and peril. Yeah, this is where we're at. We've kind of had a week of planning, like, for this campaign, so we have done a shit ton of work. It's been like iteration. And you can kind of see here, this is sort of my workshop area, because the base engineering tiles we're not having double wide corridors with, but as a stretch goal we will. And there's a lot of variants to think of. Although when I was coming up with a design here for the tiles that we've currently got going, I did realize that this room I wanted to do some work on. What has become this room. So my table layout is not quite the same. I still have this in place, but I'm going to switch out these corridor walls in the interior for engineering ones. And I'm also going to make a room here, like if the piece I had on my tabletop is actually more like this piece. So what I might do is save out a copy of this as engineering intruder scene animation as a sort of backup, and then I'm going to save this out then as guess just a engineering tabletop layout. Even though we'll probably use it in another sense, it is a bit of a pain in the ass to do things. But I'm just going to rebuild this so it looks like my tabletop, and I'm going to show you the custom piece we're going to need. So the first thing of note is that all of these, let's see, I want to have my grid on, and I probably want to go and set my grid up so that it's only on like 2. And I'm not going to worry about lights or anything at this point. I am going to turn on my grid so we can kind of see where we're at. This darker thing is the center point of the entire scene. And I'm just going to move off to the side the pieces that are like doorways to corridors. So, because we do kind of need to replace these. So what we've got here is a standard wall, I believe. And then we've got the pipes starting from the floor there. So if I just move, oh no, what is that? What was that? That, my friends, indicates that some of the objects in this group need to have their transformations frozen. Or is it a delete history that's needed? Oh. What is going on here? I'm not sure.
Delete history, I think, if they are connected. I've run into that before.
Oh.
It seems to be some sort of interdependency. I can't really tell what it is though.
It seems this group here is related to it. So if I delete the history there and then grab all that again, now it's moving by itself. All right, so that was it. So I'm just mirroring this over here where it's off to the side so we can sort of like easily see what we want to recreate. Sorry, Albin, you said there were questions?
Yeah, there were some comments. Tamsin said it would be a good way with scenes like this to show off how the pieces can be used. And then the Blasted Camouflage said, I'm all for having dioramas made up, by maybe adding some bases on the minis to help with scale.
Oh, right. You mean, yeah, because they're going to be finished. Yeah, well, we could potentially do that. That probably wouldn't be too much of an issue. So we're just, at the moment, moving all the pieces off that we aren't going to need. And I'm sort of just going off what I've got on my tabletop as a reference. Again, I can just switch over to the camera here and show you the layout that we're going after. So the door that I just moved, this is the doorway we're going to have. We're making the room a bit deeper. And the idea is we're going to have a pathway going around here, and in the center we'll have some kind of machinery. So just to make it have that industrial engineering feel. So let's just move that along. And we'll be able to identify what we really need to work on. Wait, what the hell's that thing? Is that? Oh, it's just an extra piece, I guess. Alright, so let's get this corner, this corner. We're actually going to have a different sort of system around here, but we'll see what we come up with first. So this corner we're going to move over here, and we need another T section. Let's see. Oh, why did I delete that? Because I am an idiot. Oh, Albin's just like, you're not an idiot.
We got a comment from the Blasted Camouflage. Serious comment time. I love the overhang of the walls, but on a single width corridor, it seems like it would be awkward to move minis around. I know you can take the tops off, but for playability, that seems like a necessity, unless you are using the double wide walls.
That may be the case, but I don't see why that's an issue. It's designed to lift off quite easily. It's not held in place by any clips. It just sort of fits in snugly. So I can hear your concern in a way, but also at the same time, I'm kind of dismissing it. Mostly because I think, in all honesty, where's the pipe single-sided? Sorry, this one. All right. So I think, in all honesty, if it doesn't feel comfortable to play on, you would just take the top off. It's as simple as that. So the idea with the top on is to make it look good. Then when you get to the actual combat encounter, that's when you would, get to a point where you're like, okay, now we're going to take the top off and get to the action, and everyone can see in. I mean, that's kind of like the entire point. This isn't exactly the same because we have the pipes just in a single row there. I know I have this. Wait. What's going on there? Why did I do it that way? Oh, doesn't matter. I guess it uses a regular wall. So yeah, I'm just going to continue. So we need something here. I think I've actually used this corner. Oh man, did another part disappear? What was that? Is it just like the floors intersecting, that's why, okay. I probably didn't need to actually copy this. I could have probably used the original piece. And we're going to move that into place. But oh well, it's copied now. So there are a lot of files in my scene at the moment. It's growing every day. Certainly not getting any smaller. Why, Albin?
What?
Alright, he has a dirty mind. Alright, and on this side we're going to have a wall there. Where's our standard wall gone?
Ooh.
There it is.
Pulse Fire Gaming join us.
Hey, Pulsifar. Alright. So let's move that into place.
I need to grab some drink.
Albin is abandoning us, everyone.
Ah! Yeah, I can't come up with a good comment.
Yeah, just don't. Alright, so let's see. I need a small wall. I believe we've got one here. So I'm just copying all these groups. And again, for you guys that weren't here, I'll just play this animation one more time, what we've been working on. Because it's cool. No sound effects. Alright, that's it. You guys have seen it again now. That was the scene we had until a few minutes ago, until we destroyed everything. And now we're trying to recreate what we're planning on building. And I'm just going to actually grab this a couple of times so that we can sort of plan out where this walkway is. So we want one of these here. We want that there. Alright, I got all my snappings on. You know, this is not as wide as I think it should be. I think this needs to be like here, if I'm not mistaken, so that we can fit a standard walkway through there. Yeah, that's what we've done. Alright, so, and then what else have we done? We want another one of those over here. Although we will probably look at some of the issues we're looking to address as well. That's going to need a klaxon sound effect. I think there'll be another animation with actual klaxons and hopefully some volumetric fog. I'm not sure what it can handle yet though. Yeah, the shadow of the alien is a nice touch. Thank you. Let's see, where's our single tile? I think we got one there. Yep. So there are a couple of missing pieces that I've identified as I was trying to assemble this scene. Like we don't have any corner piece here. That could also have, you know, the pipes. So we'll probably do a couple of variants. I don't know if we'll get to it in this session. Right now we're just trying to recreate what's on my tabletop, what I printed out. For marketing material. And actually this wall is inappropriate, I've realized, because we want to use one that is corridors on that side. So we're going to move this over to here and use it as our wall beside the door. And this part, I guess, is going to get used somewhere. Probably on this back wall, so I'm just going to put it there for now. So I'm looking for my doorway. Let's use this one. Maya is behaving and cooperating with this, even though we've got quite a few things in this thing. Actually, let's turn off our outliner there so we can see a bit more real estate. And if I turn the lights back on, you'd see that that hasn't really changed in the scene. Everything's still in the same place. But, you know, the shadows are going to work quite a lot differently considering the fact that we're missing a bunch of interior, right? So I might like to like recreate the scene that we just made, but with what I have on my tabletop, right? Also, I think in the end we're probably going to make this room a little bit bigger, but we'll see. I haven't got to that point yet. All right, so let's turn those lights off again. And we will get the bottom of the door. All of these projects always end up taking a lot more time than I hope. But, I mean, when I said I have 58 files ready to go, what I'm saying is I have 58 files. Like if we get into here and you can see these, all of these are ready to print. And all of these are ready to print. Oh, and we also redesigned the perfect open lock clip, which we're calling the snug clip, which is like this perfect hybrid of the tight fitting clip and the tight springing clip. So it kind of combines the best of both worlds and gives a very, very satisfying click. Let's see, we move that into place so that all looks right again. We need this wall. I believe it is regular wall on one side, pipes on the other. So like this. Yeah, that one. So we want to move that over to here. And even I'm getting confused about like all the variants here because there are so many. And then we actually want to, I think we want the corner to be there. Why did it no? We're taking this out for now. And we're taking this piece and we're gonna switch it around. We've designed this all to just orient correctly, so there's very few duplicate pieces. You just rotate them, right? Because in this version there's another doorway there. We might show a half wall, we might not show any wall. I'm not sure yet. But this corner, we need to do something with that. How did we solve that corner? Why is it? Okay, it's a piece like this. So we actually have, oh, yeah, that's not right. Let's just duplicate this for now and then remove these three variants. I assume that piece was like that because we made it that way. No, basically I think it's that way because we did want to make sure that we had, actually that can go there, a couple of options on the opposite in case, like for example here you have this S tile. Sometimes you want to end here and go around the corner and have a wall there, so this is exactly what that's for. This is actually a T piece, so you could actually have another wall going there. We are actually going to use this piece, but I'll get to that in a bit. And I'm just going to, we can actually copy both of these at the same time, move around to get the corners. The other corner over there is also needed. So this is kind of like what you would want to do in Deck Designer in the end, right? To design your own pieces. We want this and we want that. Let's go up for all pieces, duplicate. So we're putting in an iris. It's not really a practical thing. Ideally an iris you would use to access some ventilation ducts or that sort of thing. But we're not going to be doing the ducts this time around. It's just like it makes the project too big. But we will design things so that they can match up with the existing ducts. And if this proves to be, a successful campaign, we will then also actually support a new version of those ducts that are prettier on the eye. Wait, what? Oh, okay, that's a full corner piece. Why did we make them like that? I think maybe I explained it last time around. But essentially, we made a boo-boo when we designed the engineering pieces. They do stick out just a little bit. You can kind of see it here, hanging over the edge of these floor tiles. They clear the tiles just great, and we're universalizing our floor tiles so they're always at the same height. But if you put two of these corners together, like if I just take this and we rotate it, it's going to become very obvious very soon what our issue is, and that is the fact that these corners intersect. So you cannot actually just have a like L corner piece here for an inside wall. Oh, that's a good bloody point. So we can't actually... Oh, no wonder those aren't going together well. Okay, so I need to... They actually fit together fairly well, if I'm being honest. So you can squeeze them together, but it's not optimal. Okay, that's interesting. That's going to make me think a little bit. I'm like, oh, this feels like it's not going together all that well, and that's why. So the problem is not the corner pieces. The problem is that it's intersecting with these pieces. So ideally, what we actually really need to do here is switch out this wall. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that because I want it to be a correct fit. So the way we would do this then, oh god, there we go. And we'll get rid of this. And actually both of those. I'm sure we'll need them later. And what we can do then is we'll want to center these two. Right? And we're going to ditch these corners altogether. Delete, delete, delete. And we actually have a corner that's... Oh, have we done it for engineering? I think so, yes. No? Not that one. This one? No? Where did we put it? Oh, here. So these are inside corners. We're going to have to switch these out. I don't know that we've done them for... Could have sworn we did those. Let's see if we've got them in our library. So I'm just going to go into my engineering folder here. We're going to go to view large icons.
We got a comment from Totally Glitch, also known as Shadow Liger. For combat, you can have a radar pulse that emanates out from the player and show the tops of the walls being removed for combat, like the Pokemon fight animation.
Yeah, that's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah. And Eric Devon said, I'm going to have to buy more yellow paint.
Okay. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, it looks like we don't actually have engineering variants of this, so I guess the library just grew. That's both exciting and daunting at the same time. So let's just replace these corners for now with the ugly, well, not ugly, but incorrect style here. It does create a couple of issues for us. Namely that the walls now need to make a 5-piece there. And I did have a nice little window in there. So I'm going to grab that window again and we'll see what we can deal with. Our double-sided window is here. We've actually test printed this so that the top and bottom are now completely... like before we did the pieces... Maybe we have an example. Yeah, where the top ring here was printed as a part of the entire top section, right? Like so. And now we've actually split it up. You can kind of see the line there. So again, it's pretty much support free printing. Or rather, it is on that piece. It's just a case of like if you want to do it in resin or something, that'll give you better results. The pipes, these ones, actually do print quite well on my Prusa as is, even though like these are clearly overhangs if you're printing it upside down, which is the intended idea. But these sorts of pipes, they work well with just bridging, so there's no real issues there. All right, we've got our window in, and now we've got a little hole there, so what we want to use is one of these. And we've already reoriented these. I think that should be... Oh no, that's a corridor on the other side. And so is that. Alright, so we've got to go over here for that. That's this one. So we'll just go and slot this into the wall. So basically we're trying to make this all connect correctly. And I'm just now realizing we have an issue in this corner. And we can't really address this issue because it would mean redesigning every single tile. And that will be a lot of work. I'm guessing duplicating the models in the scene is easier in this case rather than using an instance of the object. Instancing you use when you want to continue to work on the original piece. But in Maya in particular, instancing doesn't affect shading. So you can instance the piece and the geometry will mirror, but if you shade it like so that, for example, we color these pipes blue, on the original piece, if we change it to yellow, it will change on that original piece, but none of the instances will switch to yellow. It will keep the original shader designs. Colors. So that's one reason why you wouldn't use an instance here, and the other thing is this is finished geometry, so I know I can just safely change it, and that way if I have an extra piece and I want to iterate, like for example solving this issue, like I could solve this issue by making sure that each corner piece has this little notch taken out of it, but that would ruin the aesthetics, so I'm not entirely sure what to do. I haven't really considered the fact that I've been using these pieces all along and they look okay. You can kind of see a gap. I'll get the camera down again. Wow, that camera's hot for some reason. Let me just switch over to the full screen mode and we can point it out. Let's see, close up. So here's an offending corner and you can kind of see there's a slight gap. Let's see if I can point it out somehow. Alright, so you can kind of see in there's like a gap. It's not flush against the piece, but it actually doesn't look that bad. Like from the outside you can't really tell that it's an issue. It's a gap, but it's not more of a gap than, you know, the regular sort of tiles. But I'm wondering if like it would be more flush if, yeah, I don't know. It's got me second guessing things. You can kind of see the effect really in this corner. But again, it's not so much of an issue as I thought it would be. So I don't know what to do about this. It's one of those things where it's like you realize it when you've already done a shit ton of work. And at this point it's like, honestly, the better solution is technically just to move this door slightly. But, or to just have a little section of, to have kept the corridor inside there. That might not actually look too bad. Let's test that out. I'll just move this over because we can move this door back. And we put it there and we've solved the issue because, yeah, although these pipes kind of end mid-air all of a sudden. I don't know what to do. It's a tough one, this. I mean, there's no intersection going on anymore, I don't think. Oh, that could be a tiny bit there. Ah, oh, this isn't great. So something to consider there. And a great gift for me for Easter. What to do? What to do? I still think like it doesn't look too bad with the corridor design being there, but then the question is, where are these pipes going? They just end, and they don't match up.
There's 2 versus 3, aren't there?
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So yeah, it's an issue. But again, like when you actually print them out, it doesn't make as much of an issue. I was just thinking the major problem here is that we don't have a good pattern for the floor for a door there. This is a much bigger issue, guys. And I thought I had found a way around it. Well, there is a way around it, but the way around it is you have to use these kind of extra large corner pieces. So, oh great, that's not even matching either. What do you guys think I should do? Change all of the patterns on every single one, all 58 pieces? Like we can test and see what it actually would require to be done. Ugh. Oh god, guys, this is so depressing.
This could have been use for instances. If you had one.
Shh. Shh. I mean, I could just accept the fact that, you know, these pieces aren't going to fit perfectly together, but in practice, when you've got them on the table, it doesn't look bad. God damn it. Bulk up the edge to hide the seam. I mean, the problem isn't the seam. The problem is that these pieces intersect with each other. And that means that there's going to be a gap because this isn't going to be sitting flush against the other piece. It's going to be sitting like either this. Oh, I don't know why that picked up that.
How about if you make a BA as version? Like half times 1.5?
It doesn't. It just means we need to make more parts to account for an error that's going to just create even more problems. I mean, the BA will fits in there, right? Or alternatively, you move this wall so that the doorway is like here instead. But that still creates the issue of, you know, we have to change everything for the sake of that one piece. Now, that might be a way to go, but it also means that, you know, using the engineering style on the inside here is not going to lead to the desired results. Now, we are actually talking about doing a version of these tiles which would not have the pipes like be everywhere. So it's possible, very possible, that we will eventually have a piece where like this section would be flatter. Damn it, I really wish I thought of that in the beginning. Because it isn't a huge way out, but, you know, it would require a complete redesign of all 58 pieces. I can't do that. I've invested too much time in this already, so we're going to have to just deal with these ugly little corners for the time being. I think as far as, you know, how it looks on your tabletop, you're really not going to notice those seams that much. And there are solutions if you can't deal with that look. But let's just redesign this so that we take that into account, and we're just gonna move the door. That's the easiest solution at the moment. We're just gonna move the door over half a tile like so. I guess that can move. No, we'll deal with that later. And we're just gonna like get rid of these corners here. And you can kind of see like a couple of pieces here that we've got left over from when we created pieces. These are our new corner clips. Wow, they were going in all kinds of directions. So yeah, we don't need this kind of corner now. We'll move that over because we're going to need to replace that corner with the same style that we have here. So really the best thing we can do right now probably is to make an engineering version of this corner. But it is 5 minutes to 4. So I don't think I'll get started on that on stream. But the idea, if I just... here we can probably instance. So edit, duplicate special. Got to make sure it's on instance. And I had been using this to create those iris pieces. So duplicate special. And if we move this into this corner... Oh, that looks pretty. This is happening because it doesn't have the same pivot point. So we're just going to grab the pivot point here. Oh, why is it? There we go. And that should then rotate together, yeah. And if we Control-Shift-D again, we've just made a third instance. So we do like this. And then we'll just grab these and move that over slightly. So you can kind of see the room taking shape. This is actually like probably a cleaner version. So it's not like I don't like the results, and these corners, you know, they look much better anyway. Much more like a feature piece, and you can clearly see the pipes. We don't need these single ones. So I've really made a mess of this scene. Oh my god, this is not my day apparently. I'm kind of imagining going home and having like the weekend off now. I was like, oh, maybe we need to, I need to get some work done, but let's see. Let's move that into place. So I've got quite a lot of print planning to do at the moment. But yeah, we can easily solve these issues that I saw before by just modularizing these. So we've got this piece that we can use. The only downside here is we don't have any clip holes to lock it into. And potentially like some ways to solve this is just like, if you need more clip holes, you would just put this facing inwards, right? Something like that. So you can flip which side it's on. That's not an issue. So yeah, I like that Liger that 3D printer users are intimately acquainted with sandpaper, but it's poor design. Although, you know, at least I am spotting it at this stage in my life, which is definitely an improvement, I would say. So you could have in this little section, you could have like there could be a ladder down to a different level. There could be a piece of machinery, like a pump system maybe. Like, where's all this water coming from? This will be the area of sort of stretch goals, right? And then what we want to do, like to demonstrate instancing here, if we just come in and take the outer pieces here, and we just start deleting them, what you'll notice is they're being deleted from over here as well. So we're just deleting a couple of bits and bobs. We want to make sure it's the right ones. Apparently this is all integrated, which is annoying. This means I can't grab a group of them. And that's my fault, not Albin's. Although Albin has helped to design the corridor pieces. So I've not done this all by myself. And in fact, I probably got more involved in this project than I should have, because I haven't been able to do any Beowulf updates for a while. But, you know, it's kind of important that the business gets some monies. So we just wanted to put all our resources into this for now, just quick and dirty. And when we launch, it should be Albin sort of picking up the stretch goals and whatnot, and I'll be focusing on the... Wait, that's already right. Wait, what's going on here? Oh no, it's just a different kind of pipe. It gets confusing, guys. It does. Let's see. So we'll get rid of these. And again, if we just delete all this unwanted geometry, the idea is we're just going to be able to grab this corner here and essentially just take the interior stuff. You right, Alvin?
We have got an STL export fail.
He summed it up quite nicely. So yeah, we'll grab all of this, duplicate, but then we're gonna essentially just ditch this stuff in the middle. Oh god, it's not as easy as I thought either. Oh guys, this is painful. This is painful. And you know what? I'm going to spare you guys this pain, because I'm going to be sitting here for a few more hours. There's our update for the week. I thought it started off pretty good with this awesome animation thing that we did. It looks pretty. It looks interesting. You keep thinking that nice engineering lady's about to get her the back of her skull taken out by a set of double teeth. But in any case, I guess that was our update for this week. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next week. Yes, we'll be back next week. It's a regular week.